A dozen Jewish rabbis that have said the Messiah is on earth now. He's been identified. He is soon going to make himself known. Well, some key things have to happen for the messianic figure in the Jewish mindset. For the Messiah to arrive, you can't think of him like we think of Messiah. We think of Messiah after the model of Jesus. He's the Son of God, divine birth, all of that. That's not the way the Jews look at the Messiah. They're looking for a king. They're looking for a political leader. As a matter of fact, Messiah to them means the anointed one, and it goes back to the ancient days when they would anoint a king and recognize him as this is the man that God sent. And what they're looking for is several things. First of all, they're looking for somebody in a political figure who can lead decisive battles in defense of Israel. This is why the only politician on the face of the earth that was standing up and saying, if I'm elected president, I'm going to be the biggest friend that Israel's ever had. We're going to undo the Iran deal, blah, 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 right? And being a friend of Benjamin Netanyahu.
מה שישראל לאחרונה נמצא מתצו כמה עניינים. מה שלא יאות, וגם משהו שעדיין משאיר ליבו. אז הייתה משהו ומה הגיעתו.
עושים.
הכנראה שהיא מספיק, כאילו שהיום כבר כמה שעות בגיל ועדיין ליבו. אבל יש עוד כמה שעות, אבל יש להשתדל גם היום, בצורה טובה.
Secondly, they're looking for, when the Messiah comes, there will be an ingathering of Jews from around the world back into the Holy Land. That's why the rabbis, on the eve of his election, went on television and said, we need to call now Jews from around the world, come back to Jerusalem because the Messiah is here, right?
Yes.
There's another thing. Thirdly, they talk about when he arrives, he is going to reinstitute the temple service. So what was the second thing they did? They called on Trump and Putin to use their power to rebuild the temple and to reinstitute the temple service. I'm not saying that they think he is the Messiah. What I actually think is that most of the rabbis there think he's John the Baptist and the Messiah is about to appear. He's the forerunner. He's the guy that's going to start the message in the wilderness, and the Messiah is going to come in on his heels. And so we need the temple service. We need to get back into Israel, the Messiah. Now, why are they saying that? They have identified somebody. I mean, there could be a few rabbis there that think he's the Messiah. The other third key is he has to be of the Davidic dynasty. He has to be of the Davidic bloodline, and there is an effort right now to go back through the European monarchy, cousins of President Donald Trump, to show that his bloodline goes back to the Davidic dynasty. Now, why are these efforts underway? I'm just saying there's something very strange here that's going on, and everything I'm saying can be verified. Multiple news agencies, the Jerusalem Post, Breaking Israel News, they're all talking about this right now. So they too believe that we are in the end times. They too believe that the Messiah is about to appear. We would say the second coming is about to happen, but their Messiah is going to be a false Messiah. He's going to be the Antichrist, right?
That was minted by the Institute for Knowledge of the Temple, and it has a picture of King Cyrus in the background, who was very influential in the rebuilding of the temple, the second temple. It has President Trump in the foreground, and on the back it has a picture of the temple itself. We hope that the declarations of both Cyrus and Trump will lead to the rebuilding of the third temple.
When is the building?
Very soon. We've already started.
Yeah?
Yes.
And when it's due to be completed?
That depends on how fast the workers work and how quickly we can collect the money from the treasury. $1 billion? It's a huge step. It's not just a step. It's a huge step because it is a step that is bringing together the biblical narrative, the narrative of Esav and Yaakov, the two brothers that were split thousands of years ago are now being brought together again, and this is all part of the biblical narrative. We believe that this is a huge step to the recognition of Jerusalem, of Israel, and the rebuilding of our third temple.
When you see Pax Judaica replacing Pax Americana, we know we are in Akhirul Zaman, and very soon, Dajjal is going to appear in person, ruling the world from Jerusalem and declaring that I am the Messiah. However, this is not the end of history. The Jews will say this is the end of history. The Christians are going to wake up and rub their eyes, the ones who are deceived by Europe, and they say, but wait a minute, this fellow there in Jerusalem who says he's the Messiah, boy, he is not the son of Mary. Huh? The Messiah who is to come back is the son of Mary. This fellow is not the son of Mary. This is not Jesus. It seems as though we were taken for a ride. Are we telling them that now if they're listening to the lecture? You've been taken for a ride. This is not the Messiah. This is Dajjal, the false Messiah. And this is not the end of history. The Jews are celebrating, but this is not the end of history. History will now end when the true Messiah comes back.
Thank you all. And of course, I want to especially welcome Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump. Your presence here today is a testament to the importance of this occasion, not only for the Trump administration, but in a very personal way, for you. For you, each of you, for the pursuit of peace, and for President Trump himself. Thank you. Dear friends, what a glorious day. Remember this moment. This is history. President Trump, by recognizing history, you have made history. So for me, this spot brings back personal memories, but for our people, it evokes profound collective memories of the greatest moments we have known on this city on a hill. In Jerusalem, Abram passed the greatest test of faith and the right to be the father of our nation. In Jerusalem, King David established our capital 3,000 years ago. In Jerusalem, King Solomon built our temple, which stood for many centuries. In Jerusalem, Jewish exiles from Babylon rebuilt the temple, which stood for many more centuries. In Jerusalem, the Maccabees rededicated that temple, and restored Jewish sovereignty in this land. And it was here in Jerusalem, some 2,000 years later, that the soldiers of Israel spoke three immortal words: Hal Habayit Be'adenu. The Temple Mount is in our hands. The Temple Mount is in our hands. Words that lifted the spirit of the entire nation. We are in Jerusalem and we are here to stay.
America's ambassador to Israel has come in for criticism after he was seen posing with a rather controversial gift. David Friedman was presented with a photograph of one of the most sacred places in Jerusalem, but the image had been altered to show the Jewish third temple on the site where the Islamic Al-Aqsa Mosque and the Dome of the Rock are currently situated.
We will move the American embassy to the eternal capital of the Jewish people, Jerusalem.
I think President Trump has made history. This will be remembered the way we remember the Cyrus Declaration, from 2,500 years ago when he told the exiles of Babylon, you can go back and rebuild the temple in Jerusalem. This is a historic moment, and we will always remember.
For the first time since the past 2,000 years within our generation, we are seeing these preparations for the rebuilding of the temple. They are training the priest. They have the implements in place.
I mean, I could just go for the next hour or two about the personalities who believe it's about to be put up. One of my dear friends, an Orthodox Jewish man named Gershon Solomon, he has the cornerstones to put on the Temple Mount to start construction of all that God said will happen during the tribulation period. All the preparations, every player I've talked with, I know I love them, they're ready to put the temple up.
What is the difference between Zionism and Judaism?
Zionism is political, Judaism is spiritual.
Okay. Are the two connected?
No. We try to connect them too much, and that's what causes problems.
Okay.
In my opinion. I think we're all Jews, we're not all Zionists, and we're all Zionists, but we don't believe in Zionism. Zionism has become a political movement.
Okay, now explain, give me a definition of Zionist and Zionism. But I don't understand what you mean.
Every Jew has in his neshama a belonging to Israel, so therefore they're all Zionists. Zionism has become a political movement in how we believe we should get Israel and what we should do to get it. So therefore the mix between them is not that cut.
So even the anti-Zionist would still be a Zionist, I put it quotes, in that sense of this is Jewish, this is their land.
Israel. Yes, this is our land. And we're spiritually connected to it. You bring in politics and beliefs, then that's when things happen.
I was deeply moved by my visit today to the Western Wall. Words fail to capture the experience. It will leave an impression on me forever. Today we reaffirm the unbreakable bond of friendship between Israel and the United States. A friendship built on our shared love of freedom, our shared belief in human dignity, and our shared hope for an Israel at lasting peace.
About how there are Trump supporters so deluded by him that they really think he is going to save the world. One example I used a couple of years ago was this woman who was absolutely sure that Donald Trump will save all of us.
I know my whole family has turned liberal, and I don't know what happened because I didn't raise them that way. And they've all been brainwashed to think that he's the most horrible man ever when he's saving everyone. Right. I mean, I'm going to start getting emotional because everything depends on this. America depends on this. We have got to save. We've got to do everything we can. And I'm not even an American citizen. I was born in England, but I've been here since I was 5, and this is my home. And we've got to save it. We've just got to.
God is with us, and God wins in the end, right? That's why the enemy is lashing out right now.
We know we're going to suffer for a while, but it's going to be good. It's going to be more glorious than anything we've ever seen. We have to have faith in God and pray and do everything we can. Everything.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. We will. I mean, just keep the faith. That's
I have complete faith that this man is going to save us. He's basically saving the world, not just us. Everyone.
Over those 5 years, I've also spoken about the self-proclaimed prophets of God who tell their listeners that Donald Trump was not only chosen by God, but in many cases, he is working alongside the angels in heaven. For example, this guy.
President Trump is on assignment and he's anointed by God, and the archangels are working with him. I'll tell you, Michael is working with him. It's not that he's serving Trump, it's the other way around. And Zerachiel and Gabriel, but they are going after what is being contended for.
And we had other so-called prophets of God who all but compared Donald Trump to Jesus Christ, like this guy.
It reminded me of a man in the Bible by the name of John the Baptist. John the Baptist, the Bible said that he was the voice of one crying in the wilderness, prepare for the way of the Lord. In other words, the Lord was soon to come, and John's job was to prepare the way for his coming. Well, ladies and gentlemen, much like John the Baptist, we must prepare the way to make straight the crooked paths in America in our election system. We must prepare for the return of Donald Trump.
And I've spoken about how a certain pastor actually said that saying no to Donald Trump was the same thing as saying no to God.
Saying no to President Trump would be saying no to God.
But while many of Trump's supporters are deluded into thinking that he's going to save the world, and many of these MAGA preachers do their part in promoting such a blasphemous message, one thing I haven't spoken about too often is those people in Trump's immediate circle who are also promoting the message that Trump is our savior. And one of those people is Lara Trump. In case you didn't see it, yesterday Lara Trump said that Americans should be kissing the feet of Donald Trump and Elon Musk. In other words, we should be worshiping these two men. Here's a short clip of that.
So people ought to be kissing the feet of Elon Musk and Donald Trump for being the two people to actually do this.
But as outrageous as that sounds, Lara Trump actually said something more obscene nearly 2 months ago, just before Trump was sworn in. She actually said that Donald Trump will save the entire world. Here's that video.
Ladies and gentlemen, less than 24 hours from now, we will call Donald Trump President of the United States of America. It's not just what we worked for over the past year, or even over the past 4 years. It started the second. A bold, brash businessman from New York City came down the golden escalator in Trump Tower 9.5 years ago, and people said it was impossible. And yet that man is the one who will save not just our country, but will save the entire world.
Let me replay that last part again, where she says not only will Trump save America, but he's going to save the world, and the supposedly Christian crowd roars in approval.
And yet that man is the one who will save not just our country, but will save the entire world.
The point I want to make is that the insane idea that Donald Trump is the savior of the world is actually being promoted by people who are the closest to him, which leads me to think that they are getting it from Donald Trump himself. So if you are a Trump supporter who claims to be Christian, you really have to think about this. You're supporting a man who is presenting himself as the savior of the world. The choice is up to you. Is your savior Jesus Christ, or is it Donald Trump? Because the more you support Donald Trump, the more you're choosing Trump over Jesus.
See the building of the third temple in Jerusalem very soon. And we honor our President Trump for what he has done for Jerusalem and for the Jewish people.
So we have the priest, we have the red heifer, we have the land, and we have everything ready.
Ideas are becoming a reality.
Temple Institute and the Sanhedrin have been actively preparing for the construction of the third temple in Jerusalem. In this video you can see they are discussing the location where to build the third temple. Some Jewish rabbis suggest building the third temple next to the Dome of the Rock. This is well supported by Israel Minister of Defense saying a synagogue should be built next to Al-Aqsa Mosque so that the Jews can also pray, not just Muslim. But the Temple Institute officials who have been preparing the third temple construction believe that the third temple must be built where the first and the second temple once stood. That is exactly on the Temple Mount. Jews have been digging tunnels under the Al-Aqsa Mosque compound since the early 1980s to find remains of the second temple and prepare for the third temple. They've dug 64 tunnels, with many on the western side, putting the mosque at risk of collapse. This has really worried Muslims and international observers, who fear that continued digging could cause the mosque to collapse. Jews believe that if they were allowed, they could build the third temple in less than a month. So, why haven't they started? The simple reason is that it's not safe and secure. They fear that if they build it now, it could be destroyed again, just like the first and second temples. They want the third temple to last forever. But before that, they need to eliminate any threats to the Jewish state and the temple. Right now, they're fighting for their rights and their temple. Listen to this army explain their wishes and ambitions.
And one day our true leader will come and we'll be united as a whole Jewish nation so we can rebuild the Beit HaMikdash.
The current Israeli government, led by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, has shown strong interest in building the third temple. Although the official policy is to maintain the status quo, several officials, including Netanyahu, have expressed support for the idea. This is part of a broader effort to assert Israeli control over Jerusalem and the Temple Mount. The government's stance reflects their desire to fulfill biblical prophecy and strengthen Jewish identity. Pete Hegseth, the U.S. Secretary of Defense, strongly supports building the third temple on the Temple Mount. In a speech, he said there's no reason why it couldn't happen soon, highlighting the progress made so far. Hegseth believes this could fulfill biblical prophecy and strengthen Jewish identity. He also encouraged Israel to use the current political climate to achieve their goals.
And there's no reason why the miracle of the reestablishment of the temple on the Temple Mount is not possible.
Many see the current U.S. President Donald Trump as a key player in this effort because of his strong support for Israel. Trump has also expressed interest in rebuilding Gaza, calling it a big real estate site.
Ownership position, and I see it bringing great stability to that part of the Middle East and maybe the entire Middle East.
There's speculation that Trump could take over the Al-Aqsa Mosque compound and turn it into an international site. Some believe Trump could be the one to make the third temple a reality. Just wait and see, as we might be witnessing the second coming of Donald Trump. Take a look at the red heifer situation now. Many see 2025 as a significant year for the potential sacrifice of these heifers. The red heifers brought from Texas in 2022 have now reached the required age for the ritual, and there's growing anticipation that the sacrifice might happen this year. Temple Institute officials are working hard to choose one perfect red heifer, as 2 were disqualified last year. Out of the 5 heifers from Texas, 3 were disqualified due to white hairs, leaving 2 viable candidates. And the remaining heifers are carefully monitored to ensure they meet the strict criteria.
It's an honor to be here with the first Jewish president of the United States.
Based on the current situation, many believe that Trump will set the first stone for the third temple construction. You know the Jews believe that whoever built the third temple, he is the Messiah. That is why Jews never believe in Jesus as Messiah, because he failed to build the third temple.
Presented to President Donald J. Trump for his extraordinary and heroic efforts. I like that very much.
Will Trump be Jewish Messiah or even be the king of the Jews?
U.S. aid exposing that's going on. That's like pretty much every headline, anybody who watches news knows that the name U.S. aid where they didn't a couple months ago. Would you agree?
That's true. Oh, yeah. We all know about USAID. And
There's a lot of dirty laundry there for a lot of people.
Yes, but nobody knew about it a couple months ago. Like, it wasn't a public talking point. I think if you asked 100 people, 99.9 of them would not know USAID a couple months ago. Well, it was named specifically in the Project 2025 document. It says the conservative administration, the next conservative administration, should rescind all climate policies from its foreign aid programs, specifically, check this out, USAID's Climate Strategy 2022, so on and so forth. Shut down the agency's offices, programs, and directives designed to advance the Paris Climate Agreement, and narrowly limit funding to traditional climate mitigation efforts. What did Trump come in and do? Musk and Trump come in and say it needs to be shut down. It's literally found directly in the document, and they're doing it right off the bat. That the main thing that's on everyone's tongues about, you know, this organization no one knew about before somehow was in this document, pre-planned to be shut down and exposed. So do people realize when they're like, hey, yay, they're doing this? And we're not saying that we're not happy that things are being exposed. We're saying they're exposing the things that they want to expose in order to bring about this Christianized government. And they're going to use blockchain technology, which is another element that we'll get into. There's like kind of two elements right now. It's Christianizing the U.S. government and getting the world on blockchain. It's the final no buy, no sell system. So it's like this dual pillared effort to bring about the final conditions for the false prophet to fulfill its role.
Yeah, you know, people following this thing, some people are outraged at what's being shut down. Some people are elated over what's being shut down, but it really is just bringing everybody into one synthesis in one direction. Yes. That it's going right now.
Order out of chaos is all over all of the Masonic halls. And when we look at some of the videos, I think it's in the next episode, about what some of these occultists are saying about Trump, his goal is to bring chaos. And out of this will come this golden order, which we've looked at as the golden order of Lucifer. Let's look at another one here. He says, withdrawals from globalist organizations. On page 257, it says the agency should cease collaborating with funding progressive foundations, corporations, international institutions, and NGOs, again, that advocate on behalf of climate fanaticism. So this is kind of left and right Hegelianism. The King of the South is pushing all this narrative, which also aligns with the there is no God versus this, religious worldview. So what does Trump do when he gets in? He withdraws from the World Health Organization, the World Economic Forums, and kind of some of these other global institutions. But only on the surface has this been done. I'm certainly not advocating that the United States stay in their agreement with the World Health Organization. All I'm saying is Trump is following Project 2025 to a T. He said he didn't know about it. He doesn't know who's behind it. Yet since he got into office, the second he got there, it's like he had an itemized list directly from that document and has been checking them off one by one.
No, I mean, and I think that, if you're, we're both Americans. We're living here in Canada, but we're both Americans too. And, growing up as an American and watching the political milieu for, a few decades, and you just realize that nothing ever seems to happen. No matter who's in power, it always seems to go the wrong direction for the common person. And so there's a growing frustration on both sides, regardless of the party you realize. And so when Trump comes in and does all these things and things happen very quickly, it's, there's this excitement like, wow. I mean, even if you're against it, you realize that, man, things really can change really quickly when there's a will to. And it is a lot of chaos in that.
Yeah, it's almost like just entertainment. It's theater. And that's actually what we're contending. We're contending a lot of what we're seeing on the global stage is Jesuit, Vatican political theater. And we're going to, try to show that there's proof, evidence behind that. So I think it's very clear that I could go and have done a dozen more points on this, but we've got so much still to cover that Trump has started implementing Project 2025. Inside of that document is support for the Abraham Accords, which is surrounding the Third Temple concept. It's removing Jesus Christ, trying to have unity, but removing Christ from the equation. So there's a lot in that document that has not yet been implemented, but we're starting to see, we're on track for much of that document to be considered actionized. And I think we made it clear, at least in one of the early episodes I did where I walked through some of Trump's connections to Roman royalty. That Project 2025 document came from the Heritage Foundation. The Heritage Foundation was started by two Knights of Malta, Paul Weyrich and Edwin Fulner. So it connects it back to the Vatican. It's like as few degrees as you can possibly get. I can connect and will show in the future how directly a lot of these things go straight back to the Vatican. It always goes back to Rome. All roads lead back to Rome. In this case, it's Project 2025, which is being implemented right now from the Heritage Foundation, given by the Knights of Malta, subservient to the Vatican. That's as clear as we can make it for Project 2025.
Valves to be taken advantage of any longer. The golden age of America begins right now. From this day forward, our country will flourish and be respected again all over the world. But to announce the largest AI infrastructure project by far in history, and it's all taking place right here in America. Together, these world-leading technology giants are announcing the formation of Stargate. So put that name down in your books, because I think you're going to hear a lot about it in the future. A new American company that will invest $500 billion at least in AI infrastructure in the United States, and very, very quickly, moving very rapidly, creating over 100,000 American jobs almost immediately. It seems to be the thing that a lot of smart people are looking at very strongly, and our country will be prospering like never before. I think that's true, and it's going to be the golden age of America, as they say. As you say yesterday, this is the beginning of golden age of America. This is one great example, I think, right? We wouldn't have decided to do this. I think so. This is the beginning of golden age. We wouldn't have decided unless you won. This will help people's life. This will help solving many, many issues, difficult things that otherwise we could not have solved. With the power of AI, I think AGI is coming very, very soon. And then after that, that's not the goal. After that, artificial super intelligence will come to solve the issues that mankind would never ever have thought that we could solve. Well, this is the beginning of our golden age. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Fantastic. This afternoon, I'm laying out my plan to ensure that the United States will be the crypto capital of the planet and the Bitcoin superpower of the world, and we'll get it done. If crypto is going to define the future, I want to be mined, minted, and made in the USA. It's going to be. It's not going to be made anywhere else. And if Bitcoin is going to the moon, as we say, it's going to the moon, I want America to be the nation that leads the way, and that's what's going to happen.
President Trump is holding the first crypto summit at the White House tomorrow, featuring investors, CEOs, and founders of crypto companies. Many in that world also hope that Trump spells out a clearer path involving little regulation in the future. And Trump says he will announce the details of a new crypto reserve for the federal government.
And last year, I promised to make America the Bitcoin superpower of the world and the crypto capital of the planet, and we're taking historic action to deliver on that promise, as you know, around the table. Yesterday, I signed an executive order officially creating our strategic Bitcoin reserve, and this will be a virtual Fort Knox for digital gold to be housed within the United States Treasury. That's a big thing, Scott. So I just want to congratulate you all for being at the White House today, and a man who knows more about Bitcoin and AI and just about everything else than anybody, David Saxon. I'd like to have you say a few words, David.
Thank you, Mr. President. We're all here today because of your leadership, your vision, and your generosity, and I really want to thank you for that. We're also here because of your desire to make America great and to introduce a golden age in America, including for digital assets. And we're here.
Technology is at the foundation of the Trump presidency. He understands technology, he embraces technology, and he's going to use technology to drive America forward.
The blockchain and Bitcoin technology are a key part of that thinking, and embracing that and here today shows how much a leader the Trump administration and our president is. He understands it. He embraces it. As you said, you're a pioneer in this place, and this is where we're going. We're using the blockchain. We're using Bitcoin. We're going to use digital assets to pound forward, and Donald Trump is leading the way. Can't be more proud of you today.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Howard.
Under your administration, we are truly going to enter into the golden age. And I'll just say, as the administrator of the SBA, small business is a tremendous network that crypto can be deployed against. And so the SBA is open to crypto. So I look forward to working with all of the leaders in this room to advance your efforts here. Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly.
Me and the other people in this room do believe that the crypto, blockchain, Web3 infrastructure is the next iteration of the financial system. And I think that the U.S. should have its leadership position continue in that new financial system. And I'm very, very happy to see people like David Sachs, Secretary Bessent, Secretary Lutnick taking this very seriously with their time, and very grateful to them too. So I'm just overjoyed to see this, and I think it is a big part of how the U.S. can continue its role in the global financial system. So thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the President for trying to bring it into this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Come once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people into your military? And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems, even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless.
You don't
God
know
bless.
that.
You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that.
That's
Remember
exactly
this.
what you're doing.
You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very good.
You will feel influence.
We're going to feel very good and very strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about it.
From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having cards. Right now, you don't. You're playing cards. You're playing cards. You're gambling with the lives of millions of people. You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III. And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country. That's back to you. Far more than a lot of people said they should have.
Have you said thank you once? This
A lot
entire
of
meeting?
times.
No, in this
Even
entire meeting,
today.
have you said thank
Even
you?
today.
You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States of America and the president who's trying to save your country.
Please, you think that if you will speak very loudly about the war, you
He's
can...
not speaking loudly. He's not speaking loudly. Your country's in big trouble.
Can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No,
Can
you've
I
done a lot
answer?
of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not
I
winning.
know.
You're not winning this. You have a damn good chance of coming out okay because of us.
Mr. President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks
You haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet,
You
and
haven't
not
been
only
alone.
in this cabinet.
We gave you, through
I
this
said
stupid president, $350 billion.
You voted
we gave
for
you
your
military equipment,
You
and you
voted
men
for
are
your
brave,
president.
but they had to use our military.
What about
If you didn't have our military equipment,
You invited
if
me
you
to
didn't
speak.
have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
In 3 days, I heard it from Putin. In 3 days, this is something
Maybe
new.
less.
In 2 weeks, of course, yes.
It's going to be a very hard thing to do business like this. I
Again,
tell you.
just say thank you.
I said a lot of times thank you to American people.
Except that there are disagreements, and let's go litigate those disagreements rather than trying to fight it out in the American media when you're wrong. We know that you're wrong.
But you see, I think it's good for the American people to see what's going on.
I understand, sir.
I think it's very important. That's why I kept this going so long. You have to be thankful. You don't have the cards. You're buried there. Your people are dying. You're running low on soldiers. Listen, you're running low on soldiers. It would be a damn good thing. And then you tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire. I want to go and I want this. Look, if you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you, you take it so the bullets stop flying and your men stop getting killed.
Of course, we want to stop the war.
But you're saying you don't want a ceasefire.
But I said to you,
I want a ceasefire.
With guarantees.
Because you'll get a ceasefire faster than an agreement.
Ask our people about ceasefire, what they think.
That wasn't with me.
For you what,
that wasn't with me. That was with a guy named Biden who was not a smart person. That was with Obama.
It was your president.
Excuse me. That was with Obama, who gave you sheets, and I gave you javelins.
Yes.
I gave you the javelins to take out all those tanks. Obama gave you sheets. In fact, the statement is Obama gave sheets and Trump gave javelins. You got to be more thankful, because let me tell you, you don't have the cards. With us, you have the cards, but with
set you free, bringing the light for all to see. No more tunnels, no more fear. Trump Gaza is finally here. Trump Gaza shining bright, golden future, a brand new light. Feast and dance, the deal is done. Trump Gaza, number one. Trump Gaza shining bright, golden future, a brand new light. Feast and dance, the deal is done. Trump Gaza, number one.
We have an opportunity to do something that could be phenomenal. And I don't want to be cute, I don't want to be a wise guy, but the Riviera of the Middle East, this could be something that could be so bad, this could be so magnificent.
Through your leadership, you embody the values of our Christian faith and love for the gospel. You remind me of the great Roman Emperor, Constantine the Great. This emperor, your dear Mr. President, is the one who founded and built the magnificent city of Constantinople, my birthplace, known today as Istanbul. It is my great honor to present you with this holy cross. This cross is the very symbol that led this great Roman Emperor Constantine to victory. As Christ revealed to him in a vision, he said, "Entuto nika," told the emperor, means go with this and be victorious, Mr. President. This cross is an everlasting symbol of peace and an invincible trophy, a sign of divine strength and guidance. With this cross, I pray you bring peace to the world and make America invincible.
Suntem partidul care își dorește alinierea României și alinierea Uniunii Europene la administrația Trump și la mișcarea MAGA. Administrația Trump caută acum parteneri în țările europene pentru a sparge ideea de unitate europeană.
Iese George Simion președinte.
Da?
Și zice Trump, adu caii Simioane să stăm să negociem. Vă vedeți să negociați prin spatele UE, da?
Da. Pe 18 mai, pe lângă alegerile din România, o să avem alegeri în Polonia. Prietenul meu bun, Karol Nawrocki, candidează din partea Legii și Justiție pentru a fi succesorul lui Andrei Duda. Am fi pe flancul estic al NATO, doi aliați, aliniați ideologic cu mișcarea MAGA și cu Donald Trump.
After years of waiting, a perfect red heifer has finally been selected. A perfect heifer without a single blemish. Now, the ceremony of the red heifer is prepared by Jewish priests or Kohanim to burn the red heifer. The ashes from this ceremony were once used to help people become spiritually clean and prepared to enter holy spaces. Israel today witnessed the long-anticipated red heifer purification ceremony, drawing huge spectators, religious pilgrims, and international media.
אף בית דין בסנהדרין וראש בית דין לבני נוח, הרב ישראל אריאל, יושב ראש מכון המקדש.
Rabbi Azariah Ariel stated in an interview that many news outlets have reported all the red heifers as disqualified, which is not entirely accurate. A single white hair may disqualify a heifer, but we currently have 5 heifers under consideration. In 2023, 1 red heifer was disqualified. Then in 2024, 2 more were disqualified, leaving us with 2 remaining. Just a month ago, one of them was selected as the perfect heifer. But we've learned a valuable lesson. Even a perfect heifer can grow a white hair and become disqualified. At the same time, a previously disqualified heifer may lose that white hair, potentially making it kosher again. That's why the selection process must be handled with great care before any are chosen for sacrifice. But the hope is there, as we still have time before the sacrifice. Right now, everything has been in place. We just need government permission, and then the first cornerstone will take place.
It's the purpose of Beis HaMikdash. That's why we decided to do this kind of style. We made it a cornerstone. It has 2 sides of a finished nice style. It can be the first stone for the Binyan Beis HaMikdash Be'ezrat Hashem.
This man is not building the cornerstone alone. Former Knesset member Moshe Feiglin was filmed with the man near the town of Eli carving stones intended for the future Third Temple. With a hammer and chisel, Feiglin said a sincere prayer. He asked that just like the stones are shaped to honor God, people too would be shaped to live together in unity and stay faithful so that we can rebuild the Third Temple. Moshe Feiglin is very committed in building the Third Temple. He wants to restore Jewish sovereignty over the Temple Mount and rebuilding the temple as a central pillar of Jewish identity. In one video, he was saying that if he were the Prime Minister of Israel, he would build the Third Temple right away. From his statement, we can learn that the government has a vital role in rebuilding the temple. With political tension rising and pressure from religious groups growing, Prime Minister Netanyahu starts feeling pushed to strengthen Israel's national identity. At a key meeting with ultra-Orthodox leaders and Temple Mount activists, he's shown data that many of his supporters connect deeply with prophetic ideas and want ancient traditions to return. Netanyahu begins to see the idea of rebuilding the Third Temple not just as a religious dream, but as something that could unite the nation. Right now, many Jews believe they are living in a historic moment. There is growing support for rebuilding the Third Temple, with both Jewish communities and evangelical Christians praying for it to happen soon.
There's no reason why the miracle of the reestablishment of the temple on the Temple Mount is not possible.
Groups like the Temple Institute and the Temple Mount Faithful have worked tirelessly to prepare for its construction. Some believe that Prime Minister Netanyahu quietly supports rabbis who are pushing for the temple.
That Netanyahu has actually privately been funding some of the push through the rabbis around this conversation of building a third temple.
And with Donald Trump back in office, many feel the path to the third temple is wide open, as he has promised strong support for Israel.
President Trump is advancing a prophetic process that will usher in, when the time comes, the rebuilding of the third temple.